good and bad in all people and all things, and who walks humbly and deals charitably. First of all, mature people. Swami Vivekananda had described this aspect of Sri Ramakrishna so beautifully, which we sing, but perhaps I'm gentle, I'm generous. I said perhaps. We do not notice it. Tyageshwara he naravara. Tyageshwara he naravara. Naravara means what? The best of human beings. What does it mean? Means Ramakrishna doesn't suffer either from superiority complex, neither from inferiority complex. He is the most mature of all personalities. And the very famous incident that happened. Swami Vivekananda prided himself that he was the most rational person. Once he uttered a word, perhaps unintentionally, blind faith. Ramakrishna caught hold of him and said, Naren, is there some faith called which is a seeing faith? Faith means there is nothing called blind faith and seeing faith. Faith is to put our trust in something of which we have no knowledge. The teachings of Guru, the teachings of the scripture is what is called faith. Now, Swami Vivekananda later on remarked, this old man even outwitted me in reason. There is nothing called blind faith. We are all using that words, blind faith like that. Let us come to the characteristics of a mature personality. I would only go briefly, but this itself constitutes a very big subject. A mature personality has a thorough knowledge of the workings of his mind. There is nothing that escapes his notice, not a thought, not a motive. We are not aware of our thoughts, much less we are aware of the motives which make us think in a particular way, our likes, our dislikes, etc. A mature personality is an integrated personality. Are we really persons, or are we suffering from split personality? We are all suffering from multiple personality syndrome. Inside the shrine room, one person. The moment we step out of these glass doors, another person. The moment we step out of these gates, a totally different person. At office, we are different. At home, we are different. At clubs, we are different. There is nothing wrong with it. It should be as it should be. But is there an integration, or do we build separate compartments and keep each personality separately? That is what is meant by split personality, is one who doesn't or has not understood how to integrate. Most of us know a bit of psychology, and in this context, I have to tell you, one of the first things Swami Yatishwarananda Maharaj used to insist is, every devotee must have some knowledge of psychology. Not depth psychology, but basic concept of psychology. What does that mean? Who is a psychologist? One who understands the workings of the mind. As we all know, the mind has been divided into three compartments: the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. And Yatishant Maharaj's classical book on how to meditation and spiritual life says, unless we integrate our subconscious, unconscious, and consciousness, we are not going to step into superconsciousness. Why? Because these are the things which hang like the bricks tied to the tail of a mongoose. So we must become thoroughly an integrated personality, means our consciousness, unconsciousness, and subconsciousness must become thoroughly integrated, harmonized, and unified. Then only we attain success. So this is the second characteristic. Third, a mature personality accepts himself, loves himself, and takes responsibility for himself. Do we accept ourselves? It looks as though, yes, we do accept ourselves. No, we do not accept ourselves. If we accept ourselves, we do not wish to be like somebody else. You know, the whole cosmetic industry is depending upon what? My nose, I wish it is somebody's nose. And somebody knows how to squeeze us, how to shrink us. That is why many Americans have personal shrinks. You understand what I mean? A personal psychologist is a psychiatrist. You know? Human beings are divided into three categories: neurotic, psychotic, and psychiatrist. A neurotic is one who builds castles in the air. A psychotic is one who lives in them. And a psychiatrist is one who collects rent from both of them. So I do not know who coined that word. The psychiatrist is called shrink. I didn't understand, but I came to my own understanding. One who shrinks your bank balance is a shrink. So, one of the characteristics of a mature personality is he accepts himself thoroughly. I am what I am. I need to change my character, but physically it's okay. What circumstances? More or less okay. It's okay. But man loves himself. Do you love yourself? Put your question to you. Do you love yourself? And if you love, you will wish your own welfare, isn't it? What is the characteristic of love? If a mother loves a child, she wishes the welfare of the child, isn't it? Suppose a child comes to the mother and asks, "Mom, do you love me?" "Yes, very much." "So is it okay if I do not go to school?" So, okay, I love you, I love you, love you, I love you. Go on saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. Allow. Love becomes what? Allow. You understand what is allow? In Sanskrit, if you put the prefix a before any word, it means the opposite. So this is what happens. A mature personality accepts himself, loves himself, and takes responsibility for himself. We all want to throw our responsibilities, first of all upon God, secondly upon the Guru, thirdly upon the Swamis that come across, upon anybody else, excepting upon oneself. A mature personality says, I am responsible for my own wellness or illness. I take responsibility and I blame myself. I also give credit to myself. Interestingly, Advaitic treatise, it says, Tasmai Mahyam Namo Namaha. I am that supreme reality. Therefore, salutations unto myself. A mature personality has a clearly defined philosophy and goal in life. So ask yourself, do you have a philosophy of life? Or you are a stick that is flowing in a fast flowing stream, wherever it takes you, you go. Do you have a goal in life? You know, success is defined as integration of three characteristics: a well-defined goal, self-discipline, and focus. Whether you are a scientist, an artist, a successful business person, whatever you want, if you want to be successful, these three: well-defined goal and self-discipline and total focus. If any one of them is lacking, and these three are very closely interrelated, like Sat, Chit and Ananda. It's a very fascinating subject. I'm not going to, I'm just referring. You know, Taittiriya Upanishad, second chapter called Brahmanandavali, defines Brahman as Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam, Brahma. And there, you cannot separate these three and derive a meaning. Each defines, expands the other. Sat is related to Chit and Ananda. It is only by the way. But for our present purpose, a mature personality is one who has a clearly defined philosophy and goal in life. A mature personality is one who lives in the present, taking the past and the future into consideration and learning the lessons from the past and defining how he would like to live in the future. We do not live in the present. We live either in the past or we live building castles in the air. You know who builds castles in the air? Be careful, you have to pay rent. A successful personality lives in the present. This is the situation. What I was, what I did, past. What can I do now? This is the only thing that is available to me. A mature personality is steadfast. We are all, moody people. We are all admirers of movies. You know what is a movie? What moves us is a movie. And one of the Swamis has defined, one who is moved is a moodha, an idiot. Enjoy it, but pretend to be moved, but do not move. Haji, haji karte rahiye, baithiye apne tham. If we study the life of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swamiji, they were all embodiments of what we are talking about. Absolute steadfastness. A mature personality has an optimistic, cheerful, but realistic attitude towards life and the world. This is one of the most wonderful characteristics. All of them are necessary. This is particularly. Are you an optimist? Do not become an optimist only. Are you a pessimist? Do not ever become a pessimist. You become a realistic optimist. But cheerful, but realistic attitude towards life and world. And a mature personality neither suffers from a superiority nor an inferiority complex. You think that we do not suffer from complex? Either we are suffering both from superiority and inferiority. When you stand beside somebody, you may be suffering superiority complex. When you are standing beside someone else, may be suffering from inferiority complex. What do I mean? We are always comparing. Is this person more intelligent, more powerful, tall, fair, fat, thin? Supposing, do not mind what I am talking about. Suppose there is a fat woman. and she gets double fat woman, another woman. She feels very happy. In comparison to her, I am far better. But if she stands beside a thinner woman, immediately she suffers from, I don't need to spell it out. Yeah. A mature personality suffers neither from an superiority nor an inferiority complex. Compare Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother. Did they ever compare themselves with anybody, superior, inferior? Did they suffer from any complex? Absolutely no. Perfectly rational, perfectly mature, perfectly sane, perfectly normal. A mature personality has sufficient self-control to sacrifice weaknesses and defects. He acknowledges, he knows what his defects, he tries constantly, strives to overcome them. A mature personality constantly strives to improve himself without getting frustrated. There is a beautiful incident. Edison was trying to develop a fuse for the electric bulb. 10,000 times the experiments failed. So some of his collaborators came and they expressed their frustration and said, "Sir, we have experimented 10,000 times and we failed. Why not we discontinue?" And he brightly smiled and said, "We now know 10,000 times how it doesn't work. Let us try 10,000 one time." Very soon he succeeded, and that's what we are using even today. A mature personality always tries to see the best in others. Not to speak of a devotee, they to see the best in other people. A mature person forgives himself and others. Wonderful quality. A mature personality integrates evil and suffering as stepping stones to a better life. A mature person has a place, a definite routine for everything in life. A mature personality can objectify himself and study himself, understand himself, find out what can be remedied, what can be improved, and he does that without getting frustrated. And a mature person has a keen sense of humor without becoming a buffoon. Mature people have a realistic self-image of what they can do and are not threatened by their weaknesses. They are also able to laugh at their weaknesses. These are some of the characteristics what we call humanistic psychologists have outlined, elaborated in their huge books, and this itself is a wonderful subject for many, many talks. So, pester future Swamis who would come here to elaborate on them. So, this is what I will stop here. Until we become mature personalities, we are not going to go anywhere in any field of life, much less spiritual field. Now, we will come back to this subject. What is the first thing I said? When we must question ourselves, am I a devotee of God? And if you say yes, you are wrong. Who is a devotee of God? There is only one. A realized soul is the only devotee of God. Then what about us? We are all would like to become devotees of God. We all should strive to become devotees of God. Now, Swami Dayatmananda Maharaj gave us a very valuable advice. I saw him only once. In 1964, he happened to come to Delhi, and it was Durga Puja time, and he initiated some of us. Then we used to meet him at night, and we used to intimate small circle, and we used to put questions. Once I asked him that, what is your advice to people like us? And then he gave two pieces of advice. And this he used to tell to others also, not that he told only to us. Very often he used to tell. The first is, find out your center of consciousness. What it means is, your Pancha Pranas, are they on money? Are they on recognition? Are they upon your physical body? Or certain desires? Find out. How to find out? Because whatever be the subject anyone is discussing, including yourself, you will bring that particular point only. So observe carefully. That is very important. Observation. Observe. Observe yourself and observe also everybody else. That is the key. And if we do not observe, then we will not become wise people. What do we become if we do not observe? We become otherwise people. In this world, there are only two sorts of people, wise and otherwise. Just to give you an illustration, Buddha, how did he become converted? One day he went out for sightseeing. What did he encounter? 4 sights. What are the sights? He saw an old man, he saw a deceased man, and he saw a dead man. Do we not see these things? These are everyday sights, but we do not become wise. But he observed, oh, am I going to become old? Yes, sir. The body is going to become old. So can I be also having disease, illness? Yes, sure. Am I going to be dead? Yes. Anything that is born is to die. Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, he says, anything that is born is sure to die. Anything that is dead is sure to be born until a person attains what we call liberation, mukti or moksha. Therefore, do not get worried. Become wise person. So, Yatishan Maharaj used to say, find out your center of consciousness. What is the second piece of advice? Develop constant awareness. What are you doing? How are you sitting? And what are you thinking? What is the motivation for your thinking? So, if there are 2 people, and one person you are talking for a short time, cutting short, the other person you would like to talk more time. Why? There is matlab hai, we are all matlabis, So find out. Why is it? There is a motive. Find out. If you don't find out, psychologically we are diseased people. Do you know how many people suffer from mental disease nowadays? Have you any idea? 1 in 3. How many of us are here? Yes. It's not a joke. This is what psychology, your American government has declared statistics. 1 in 3 suffer from either mild or serious mental problem. So these 2 pieces of advice. Find out your center of consciousness and constantly be aware. So the natural question is, why do we want to find out our center of consciousness? Because what is spirituality? Shift your center of consciousness from a worldly point to God point. God should be the center of our consciousness, and anything other than God is called worldly center of consciousness. That is what it is. Now, there are so many scriptures, so many saints, and all of them more or less teach exactly the same thing, maybe using different words. I will give just a few examples. If you are a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, how to become a devotee? Sri Ramakrishna's 5 commandments. You remember 5 commandments? God realization is the only goal of life. How to attain it? Cultivate holy company. First commandment, Bhakti Yoga. Then, now and then go into solitude and practice discrimination. call upon God more intensely. What yoga? Raja Yoga. What is the third commandment? Always practice discrimination. What is discrimination? Anything can happen to anybody at any time, at any place, in any way. But we do not accept it. It can happen to others, it can happen to us, anything. Is it not happening? And does it come with a notice? Most often it happens by accident. People are dying. In what way? Maybe very horribly. We do not know. But not to expect that is going to shock us. Therefore, Sri Ramakrishna says, anything can happen at any time. Practice discrimination. What is the last commandment? Live in this world like a maid servant. Do we live like maid servants? So these are the 5 commandments. And according to Sri Ramakrishna, there are 3 characteristics of a bhakta. A bhakta should always be aware of, sadhaka rather. He should always be aware of time, energy and company. The 4 commandments of the Holy Mother. Do you know what are the 4 commandments of the Holy Mother? You know it. If I tell you, then you will come out. You know what are they? If you want peace of mind, then stop finding fault with others. Start finding fault with yourself. The world is not a stranger. No one in the world is a stranger. What is the last commandment? Make the whole world your own. 4 commandments. The 10 commandments of yoga. According to yoga, 10 commandments. Do you know that? Yama and Niyama. Yesterday you heard. Yama. What is Yama? Ahimsa, Satya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha. What else? Asteya. I am not going to details because yesterday Swami had spoken in a little more details. And what are the niyamas? By the way, yamas are those characteristics which removes all negativity. And niyamas are the things which give us positive qualities so that we can progress in any type of life. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhana. And the 4th one is a beautiful characteristic. What is it? Swadhyaya. What is Swadhyaya? Adhyaya means study of the scriptures. And we have to study every scripture in a correct light. At the same time, keeping in mind, how is it going to help me? Is the study of scriptures. But Swadhyaya also means, study of oneself. Observe, put a mirror. Incidentally, this word mirror in Sanskrit, a mirror is called Adarsha. Adarsha means mirror. We say Sri Ramakrishna is the ideal. Means Sri Ramakrishna is a mirror in which I correct myself. What do you do in front of a mirror? Do you correct the mirror or do you correct yourself? So put Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swamiji, any saint, they are the mirrors. I should be correcting myself until I am satisfied, I approximate what I want to do. So these are the 10 commandments of yoga. Then there is most beautiful, how to become a bhakta or devotee, 7 commandments of Ramanujacharya. Swami Vivekananda quotes it in his talks on bhakti yoga. Do you remember? What are they? Viveka, Vimoka, Abhyasa, Kriya, Kalyana, Anuddharsha and Anavasada. Anyway, I am not going into the details, but roughly translated what they mean is discrimination, dispassion, repeated practice, serving the society, wishing the welfare of the whole society, not becoming too much excited, not becoming too much depressed. These are the 7 commandments of Ramanujan. Now, how to become a devotee of God? Each one of us, every single day, we have to put questions to ourselves. Nobody can give certificate, especially Swamis. If you ask me whether you are a devotee of God or not, you know what I will do? You cook some nice food and bring to me. I will tell you whether you are a devotee of God or not. Do not expect any certificate from anybody else. You give certificate to yourself. As I said, never say I am a devotee of God. Say, I want to become a devotee of God, and I would like to try to become a devotee of God. But in the first question that we need to put to ourselves, do I really want God? Do I really want God? We have to be extremely honest, not deceive ourselves, and say, okay, I want God. The next question, how much percentage? 1%, 10%, 50, 90, 99, 100. Then only there is a chance that we progress and become devotee. Then, I am going to give certain very practical things which we experience in our day-to-day life. There is no point in indulging in high philosophical rhetoric. Do I indulge in backbiting? Every morning, ask yourself, do I backbite? Do I criticize other people? Of course, we rarely do it in front of them. We do it at the back of them, because that's why they say, before you criticize anybody, you stand in their shoes and be 1 mile away from them. That way, if you criticize them, and if that person wants to beat you to pulp, first of all, he doesn't have shoes. Secondly, you are 1 mile away. There's a good chance that you will escape. So, do I indulge in backbiting? Do I criticize people? And criticism doesn't mean only verbal criticism. Mentally, we are all criticizing. We are looking down upon many people. We are creating discrimination. We have to be extremely careful. We are always making this food is better, this food is not better. Perhaps you can do that before Brahmarpana. After Brahmarpana, if you make, God will take offense. You know why? Because once you make Brahmarpana, what does that food become? Brahman. So this is very desirable Brahma. This is undesirable Brahma. If you make that kind of discrimination, Brahma also will make discrimination. You know what he will give? This person doesn't know the pronunciation of Brahma. So I will give him Brahma. Put yourself a big question. Am I attached to money? We don't want to face ourselves, We want to be known as generous, charitable, open-minded and all those things. Find out how much money you need, how much money you have, how much money you are prepared to distribute, to share with others. You know why? Because we are all Hindus. And Hindus often profess that we believe in karma siddhanta. So if somebody gives away their money, etc. in charity, according to karma, what do you think happens to that, what they give away? Is it lost forever? Govinda, Govinda. What is going to happen? It's come back to us in the form of punya. Therefore, charity is not charity. Charity is the best investment anybody can have. It is the best investment. It will come back 1,000-fold. But do we really believe in it? No. You are very stingy in that. Ask yourself, this is not to be answered by anybody else. It is to be answered each by you. Am I attached to money? The next question is, am I attached to sensual enjoyment? I didn't want to use the word sex. Sensual enjoyment. Answer yourself. It is not to be given in a questionnaire to Swami or anybody. It is only for yourself. How do we know? Of all the Mahamaya's manifestations, the two terrible manifestations according to Sri Ramakrishna is what? Kama and Kanchana. Why did he say that Kama and Kanchana? Because we are body-oriented people. When a devotee nicely decorates herself, dresses herself, also a man, what is the point in it? What is the purpose? It is to enhance my body. Is a very attractive body, beautiful body. Look at me, desire me, do not touch me, but desire me. Yes, be very serious about it. If you want to be a devotee of God, it is nice, decent to dress, it is very good. But any of this sort is a definite indication that what I say through the mouth and what I do rest of the time, there is no harmony, there is no correlation, there is no integration. So these are the questions which we need to ask. I am not asking the answer. You answer yourself. Be honest with yourself. And you will understand it. Next, Ramanujacharya gives us a most wonderful hint. Every would-be devotee should ask himself or herself two questions. Anukulasya sankalpaha, pratikulasya varjanam. Whatever I am doing, does it please my God? If I am a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, does it please Sri Ramakrishna? I am eating, does it please Sri Ramakrishna? I am dressing, does it please Sri Ramakrishna? I am talking, does it please Sri Ramakrishna? I am reading a book, does it please Sri Ramakrishna? I am doing japa, does this please Sri Ramakrishna? Anything we do, let us ask, does this please Sri Ramakrishna? If honestly we feel it is for his pleasure, it is in the right direction. If we feel that pratikulasya varjanam, no, anything that doesn't please him, I must put a stop and say, I must try. It doesn't come immediately, but at least I must have that sankalpa, mental determination. I would not like to repeat it. That is called pratikulasya varjanam. So ask questions. Do I want recognition? If I render service to the Vedanta society, am I craving for recognition? Whatever I do, ask yourself, do I want Sri Ramakrishna's approval, Sri Ramakrishna's pleasure, Sri Ramakrishna's grace, or do I want everybody else's positive comments, praise, etc.? Then, as I already mentioned, am I spending my time to please God, or am I spending time? There are two ways, passivity and activity. Active. Passive means time is there, so I read a book. It may be a good book, but it doesn't do much help. But I determine this is good to do it, so I do it. This is called active action, not passive action. So also, am I spending my energy? And what type of companionship I have? These are the things we will have to think deeply. Am I becoming intimate with a particular person or an event? We tend to go near. This is called raga and dvesha. Raga means that which gives me pleasure, it is my tendency to go near and to be near, still near. Dvesha means whatever doesn't give me pleasure, I would like to be away. Ask yourself the question, am I attached to any person? It could be even your mother, your father. It could be even a Swami. It could be a devotee. It could be even your guru. Very interesting question. Are we supposed to be attached to our gurus or not? Usually the answer is yes, you should be devoted. But we don't use the word, you should be attached to the guru. Attachment is Maya. Devotion is spirituality. What does that mean? That means I do not become attached to the physical manifestation of my guru. My guru likes this. We never listen to him. There was a funny incident. Swami Brahmananda, a great spiritual personality, one day a devotee came to him and said, Maharaj, I would like to have initiation from you. Maharaj said, we will see in future. Always he says, come next year, like that. But the devotee was persisting. For some reason, one day he called, do you accept me as your guru? He said, yes, Maharaj. Then will you listen to me, whatever I ask you to do? He said, yes, Maharaj. From tomorrow, don't come to me. Very hard test, But what is meant is, what goes in the name of devotion to the Guru, Guru Bhakti, often turns out to be physical attachment. Then there is a lot of, who is more attached to my Guru, or to whom my Guru is more attached. How many times he is smiling at the other devotee? We go on calculating. That means we are criticizing our Guru. And if we criticize our Guru, our devotion to Guru flies through the window. That means God flies away from us. This is the simple truth. So, what type of company I am keeping? Am I intimate with any particular person or an event? Then, is there any undesirable events happen in my life? Look up. We generally do not wish to have any undesirable events to take place. And in the case of devotees, it is even more misfortune. Why? Because we think, because we are every day paying some insurance premium in the form of goody japam for 15 minutes or 20 minutes, we have a divine right over God. What right he has got to make my life so unpleasant? Somehow, worldly people don't bother. Real devotees don't bother God. But it is the in-between people who go on, you see, I have been calling upon you such a long time. Are you deaf? Apply. No reply. Somebody asked one of our Swamis, does God answer our prayers? Swami said, yes, all the prayers are answered. Most often the answer is no. We are not prepared to accept that. We must have that reliance and say that we must have bhakti, not attachment. Devotion and attachment are opposed to each other, like light and day. How do we know? Because if we have devotion, anything is okay. If it is attachment, everything affects us. Either it makes us very happy, or it can also bring us down. We can be in doldrums. That's a very important thing. Then the next, Hinduism, Vedanta, teaches us karma siddhanta. We all tout karma siddhanta, law of karma. What does it mean? What is law of karma? Whatever happens in life is none an accident. It is something, we deserve it and we get it. And we go on talking about it, but we don't accept it. So, 2 points to be noted in this regard. If we really believe in the law of karma, First of all, whatever happens is the result of what I myself had done in my past. Second, this is more important even the first one. Whatever happens in my life, in any one of our lives, is for our own good. How many of us are ready to believe? An accident happens, paralysis happens, I lose some limbs. I might become blind. Have I the mentality to say, oh Lord, it is all your grace and it is for my good? Can we say? Only if we say, then we can truly say, I believe in the scriptures and what the scriptures is talking is true and Karma Siddhanta is one of them, it's for good. These two components. First, whatever happens is my own doing. This is expressed in Bengali in a beautiful song. And most of our Bengali devotees know that song. What is the song I am referring to? Dosh karo nayogo ma ami shvakhata sholile dube mori shama. It is no one's fault, O mother. It's my own doing. I am experiencing now. The other song, which is also very familiar, it expresses it even better way, positive way. Shakali tomari icha. Kare dauma brahma pado, kare koroma adhogami. Whatever mother does, do you think, is it bad? Anything could be bad? Does a mother ever take a person down? I want you to suffer. If mother makes us suffer, is it for whose good? If mother makes us suffer, who suffers more? Me or mother? You are all telling nicely, I am giving a cue. That's why you are repeating after me. We have to translate it into our day-to-day life and say, this is one of the affirmations we have to make. Like CBT. You know what is CBT? Cognitive Behavioral Therapy. Affirmations, pure affirmations. By the way, it is like Vedanta, like your meditation. It has tremendous effect. And meditation also is nothing but continuous positive spiritual affirmations. One of them is, whatever happens is for my own good, by the will of God, by the will of the Divine Mother. Am I greedy? Ask the question, am I greedy? There are two types of expressions to this. I have seen this in my life. All this I am talking from my experience. You can also understand it. If I ask you, are you greedy? Very few devotees admit it. There are two forms of this. One is miserliness, another is greediness. What is greediness? To accumulate as much as possible. What is miserliness? Not to give out or give out as less as possible. These are two expressions of exactly the same defect. That means worldliness. That's what Sri Ramakrishna also meant by Kanchana. So, am I a greedy person? This is the question you put yourself. Am I always greedy for a better gadget, better house, better position, better salary, better power, name, fame, prominence, recognition, etc. Am I greedy? And one of the most important questions we need to put is, am I suffering from that dreadful disease called jealousy? If anybody says, no, I don't suffer, then definitely you are suffering. The only person we know, a realized soul, doesn't suffer. Swami Vivekananda never had this disease. The others, the more prominent they become, the more happier he becomes. Even it is said, a mother also becomes jealous of her own daughter on the wedding day. In Bengal, certain communities, there is a rule, on the wedding day, the mother should not attend the wedding. I was surprised, recently only I came to know. Then I asked somebody gave a sort of explanation. He said, the mother looks at her daughter, oh, how young my daughter is, how beautiful she is looking, I wish I were like that. And that could create a kind of jealousy. It is very peculiar thing. Human mind is very peculiar. Of all the things we suffer from, this dreaded disease called jealousy. Ask, am I jealous of any devotee, of any person in this world? If you find yourself no, you are suffering from jealousy. Sure about it. Sure sign about it. A small story I will finish with in a short time. This I heard from Swami Bhaskaranandaji. Two wandering monks suddenly met accidentally and they fell to talking to each other, and to their great, or I don't know, both delight of both, they discovered they were the Guru Bhais. They were initiated by the same Guru. But the elder one, senior monk, doesn't want to equate the junior one, So he said, yeah, I'm so happy we are Guru Bhais. But when we were young, our Guru tested us for years and years and years, then only initiated. Later on, he started initiating every riffraff. What does that mean? Yeah. Yes, we are Guru Bhais, but do not dare to think we are both equal. If anybody is suffering from this is the greatest himsa. Jealousy is the greatest himsa. Himsa, you understand? Injury. Swami Vivekananda defined. You know what is ahimsa? Absence of jealousy. That is what he defined. It is so insidious. It comes, creeps in such a way that if two Swamis are speaking and one Swami gets more applause than the other Swami, done. Already the demon had started working out. So then, try to surrender to God on every occasion. Do you try, put one question. If we are wanting to become devotees, this is one of the last questions. Am I trying to surrender myself to God? Whatever be the event, good, something good happens, it is God's grace. Something unpleasant happens, whose grace? Satan's, devils, whose grace? Shokali? But there so earlier you were better. Now you lost your balls. So these are some of the questions we need to put every single day, and so that we become aware. And if sincerely, with awareness, we put these questions, and most often the answer is for all these questions, are you having jealousy? Yes. Are you deluded? Yes. Are you craving for name and fame? Yes. We are on the right path. Because what is the first thing? Acknowledge. Then only starts, I have to become a better person from this point onwards. I think this is one of the most practical talks I have given. First I spoke about the characteristics of a mature personality. Then I spoke what questions each devotee should put to oneself. If we honestly put these questions and honest answers will come, then the reformation will start. Then the journey to become a good devotee of God comes. Last point I would like to mention is, there is a very special chapter in the Bhagavad Gita exclusively devoted to this devotion subject, which is the chapter 12. Its very title is Bhakti Yoga. There are nearly, I think, 32 or 33 characteristics. And do not fear that one after the other, they all come in a gang. Good qualities also come in a gang, and bad qualities also come in a gang. If we want to practice one good quality, we need the support of all the other qualities and they will come. So, how to acquire them? I could only say that without God's grace, nobody can become a devotee of God. And how does we get? If we sincerely pray and say, Bhur Bhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodaya. If our prayer is sincere, God will come. In what form? Buddhi. Buddhi yogam dadamyaham. God bestows His grace in the form of right understanding. Then we slowly strive, struggle, do sadhana, and one day God Himself says, yes, you are bhakta ativa me priya. You are most dear to me. This I am repeating from the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He who has these qualities is a most dear disciple, devotee of mine. Now do not ask me the answers, as I said. Let us, each one of us put, and the answers will come. That is the diagnosis. Then we strive to get rid of them. God's grace will bring us ultimately to His feet. Then we know that me and God and nothing else. Then we can say, I am a devotee of God. Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Sritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu.
So to give the Swami thanks after a talk like that is not even appropriate. I've known of the Swami for a number of decades, and I met him first. I'd known of him long before, but I met him first in 1995 in San Diego, again 6 or